Number 7. An unacceptable rejection. On July 31st, 2013, a man decided to leave his partner after she assaulted him, but he was murdered by her after he tried to end their relationship. A woman from Minnesota, who is a mother of 3, was facing murder charges after the discovery of her boyfriend's beaten body hidden inside a freezer. The incident unfolded in Shorewood, a location near Twin Cities, where a 58-year-old man was found inside a chest freezer in the garage of the home he shared with his 29-year-old partner, Jetown Wheeler. While the victim's identity was not officially released by the authorities, they believe that he was attacked by Wheeler after he told her that he was going to end their relationship. He had contacted a friend on July 31st, telling them that Wheeler had assaulted him and that he was planning to leave her and return to Chicago. He had scratches from the assault and called Wheeler crazy. Although when the call was abruptly cut short, the victim assured his friend that he would call back, but that never happened. On the same day, a deputy from Carver County had talked to the victim in a school parking lot about a loud phone call. The victim mentioned his intention to leave for Chicago, and the deputy noticed a nearby vehicle registered to Wheeler with a duffel bag inside. They tried to find the missing man on August 15th, during which police questioned neighbors. One neighbor reported hearing an argument between Wheeler and the victim in their driveway about 2 weeks before his disappearance. Wheeler initially told authorities that the victim had taken a bus to Chicago, but when investigators did a thorough search of the home on August 21st, they found a section of carpet beneath Wheeler's mattress, visibly soaked in blood. Further bloodstains guided detectives to the garage, where a recently acquired freezer, purchased on August 5th, was hidden behind 2 mattresses. Inside the freezer, the victim's frozen body was found, with bags of clothing and shoes hidden underneath a kitchen microwave. The victim's clothing was soaked with blood, and his injuries included facial wounds, probably caused by a blunt object, as well as cuts to his left eye and the side of his head. There were also signs of neck muscle hemorrhaging. The closet rod in Wheeler's bedroom was also missing. Wheeler was charged with second-degree murder and was kept in police custody. In 2014, she pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Number 6. Proposal gone wrong. On October 30th, 2017, Christopher Tucker thought he was going to have an amazing evening until it all went horribly wrong. It began when 19-year-old Tara Serino, living in Pennsylvania, went along with 34-year-old Christopher to his house in Berks County shortly after midnight. Despite her father, Fred Serino's concerns, Tara, who was friends with Christopher, assured her dad that she would call later to reassure him of her safety. But that call never came. Growing increasingly worried, Fred contacted state police at 9:30 p.m. the following day, seeking their help in checking Christopher's home and finding his daughter. When they got to Christopher's residence, law enforcement officers could not contact anyone inside. The next day, a stranger knocked on Fred's door, identifying himself as Christopher Tucker's father, John. This man revealed that his son had been picked up at a rest stop and taken to a hospital for evaluation. John also mentioned that Tara's belongings were found in his son's home, and he wanted to return them. But he asserted that as far as he knew, Tara was not with Christopher in Illinois. It was on this same day that Fred officially reported his daughter missing. The officers who met Christopher at the rest stop said that he was speaking incoherently and was alone. In the police interviews regarding Tara's disappearance, Christopher admitted to the gruesome act of killing her. According to his account, a few days prior, he had proposed marriage to the young woman, but she declined, revealing that she had been involved with other men. Christopher claimed that she had hinted that he should end her life. Christopher confessed to strangling Tara until he believed she was dead. He then went on to commit even more horrifying acts, including gouging out her eyes, breaking her neck, and using a hatchet to ensure her death. Christopher recalled wrapping Tara's lifeless body in a rug and leaving the scene. The investigation led police to discover her body in a bedroom of Christopher's house. The injuries she sustained were consistent with his disturbing confession. Additionally, authorities determined that a 25-pound weight plate had been utilized in the commission of the murder. Christopher was facing a series of grave charges, including murder and criminal homicide, as well as 2 counts each of aggravated assault and possession of an instrument of crime. In 2021, he was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. Number 5. A tragic night out. On December 16, 2021, a young woman wanted to enjoy a night out at a club, but unfortunately, she met and got intimate with a man who became her murderer. Just days before Christmas, 31-year-old Lewis Haynes, an oil refinery worker, killed 18-year-old Lily Sullivan while meeting her at a nightclub called Out in Pembroke in southwest Wales. The victim was strangled by him after she rejected his sexual advances. The two shared a kiss before going into a nearby alley where they started to get intimate with each other. As the events unfolded, Haynes forcefully removed her clothing and strangled her in a bid to silence her. Lily was later found dead, face down and unclothed from the waist up in Mill Pond, a freshwater reservoir. After the murder, Haynes walked past Lily's mother, Anna Sullivan, while she waited to pick up her daughter from a nearby garage. As the attack unfolded, Anna was on the phone with her daughter, and the line abruptly disconnected. That's when a nearby resident reported hearing a woman scream. Anna's desperate attempts to reconnect with Lily went unanswered. CCTV footage from the alley revealed Lily's phone repeatedly lighting up as her mother's calls went unanswered. Haynes confessed the murder to his girlfriend, claiming that he had strangled Lily and left her in Mill Pond. He also tried to blame Lily, claiming that she had threatened to accuse him of sexual assault if he revealed his girlfriend to her. He painted a picture of Lily being the aggressor, creating a distorted narrative of justification. As the trial unfolded at Swansea Crown Court, it was found out that Haynes had fled the scene, leaving Lily's lifeless body by the water's edge. Anna shared her anguish through a personal statement. Lily, who was her only child after a history of 14 miscarriages, grew into a vibrant and talented person with a passion for art and music. Haynes admitted to murdering Lily but claimed that the motive was not sexual. But the judge concluded that the act did involve a sexual element. The court sentenced Haynes to life imprisonment after acknowledging both his guilty plea and his expressions of remorse. He would not be eligible for parole until his mid-50s. Number 4. The awful beheading. In October 2018, a man could not handle the rejection of his marriage proposal from his beautiful girlfriend and ended up beheading her afterward. 26-year-old Shingas Bekunova was hospitalized in Kazakhstan after beheading 21-year-old Nazike Bekshanova. Shingas, who worked as a teacher, had proposed to Nazike, who had recently graduated from a medical university. The couple had been engaged in a heated conversation just hours before her lifeless body was discovered in a village in Kazakhstan. But it is believed that her refusal was influenced by her parents' disapproval of their relationship. Seething with anger over the rejection, Shingas held a knife to sever her head while they were inside his Daewoo Nexia vehicle. After he was done with killing her, Shingas tried to take his own life by stabbing himself in the abdomen. Before doing that, he even wrote a note with his wish to be buried alongside his victim. Shingas was kept under detention in the hospital, and his condition was described as grave but stable due to his self-inflicted knife wounds. Once his medical condition stabilized, he was transferred to a detention facility. He was facing a charge of murder, which carried a minimum prison sentence of 15 years. The note he left behind confirmed his responsibility for the beheading, indicating that he committed the act because Nazike had initially agreed to marry him. The decapitated body of the young woman was found inside the car, near a dam on the outskirts of Tazboget village, which is about 5 miles away from Kaiserlorda city. Details about Shingas' sentencing were not released. Number 3. A deadly fixation. Shanna Fisher, A 16-year-old high school student found herself at the center of a disturbing ordeal involving Dimitrios Pagotis, the 17-year-old school gunman responsible for a deadly attack at Santa Fe High School, just south of Houston. Shanna had been the target of Dimitrios's unwelcome attention for about 4 months, during which he relentlessly pursued her for dates. Despite her continuous rejection, he persisted. 2 weeks before the incident that would claim Shanna's life, along with those of 7 other students and 2 teachers, Shanna confided in her family and said that if he kills her, she will haunt him forever. Her father, Timothy Thomas, a 41-year-old man who had reconnected with Shanna after many years, recounted the story. Shanna had alerted her mother to Dimitrios's sinister intentions, expressing her fear that he wanted to harm her. She had even revealed that Dimitrios had explicitly told her that he planned to kill her. Only a week before the tragic events, Shanna had finally mustered the courage to confront Dimitrios and finally tell him to stop his advances. But this act of self-assertion marked her as a primary target in Dimitrios's rampage. Reports indicate that he shot Shanna from close range, leaving her face so disfigured that recognition was nearly impossible. The horror deepened as he then opened fire on other classmates. This obsession with Shanna has emerged as a possible motive for the devastating attack, shedding light on the extent of Dimitrios's dangerous fixation. While this theory offers a glimpse into the motive, it has not been officially confirmed by the legal authorities involved in the case. Timothy recalled Shanna as a timid but kind-hearted soul who had recently celebrated her 16th birthday. Her dreams of becoming an anime artist were cut short by the senseless act. Despite the pain inflicted upon their family, Shanna's father resisted calls for the death penalty and expressed a sentiment of compassion. He revealed that he is even praying for Dimitrios, the troubled teenager who carried out the heinous act. In Texas, the law prohibits the execution of individuals under a certain age, and Shanna's father seems to reflect upon the complexities of justice and empathy, even in the face of unimaginable tragedy. In the years that have followed, Dimitrios has not been deemed mentally fit to stand trial, and as of now, he's still awaiting his sentence. What do you think Dimitrios Pagotis' sentence should be? Let us know in the comments and hit subscribe while you're at it. Number 2. Getting out of hand. On October 24, 2022, a woman who had consistently turned down romantic advances from a colleague was fatally shot outside her workplace. The victim, 28-year-old Nicole Hammond, was shot in the neck with a handgun by her co-worker, 36-year-old Jordan Carpenter. The event took place at around 7 a.m. in the parking area of Dubois Textile, located in St. Cloud, Minnesota. After receiving the distress call, the police swiftly got to the scene. They found the lifeless body of Nicole in the parking lot after having sustained a gunshot wound. Despite their immediate efforts to save her life, Nicole passed away at the location. Jordan had fled the site before the police got there, but 3 hours later, law enforcement found him at a house in Sauk Rapids. He was arrested and taken into custody for questioning on charges of second-degree murder. Jordan did not confess to shooting Nicole, but he acknowledged that he was walking towards her car when the gunshot occurred. Jordan told the police that he fled the scene due to the trauma he experienced on witnessing the aftermath of his actions. He neither provided aid, went to work, nor contacted emergency services. Nicole had consistently communicated her lack of interest in pursuing a romantic relationship with Jordan. She had rejected his advances via text messages the night before the event. In these messages, she explicitly conveyed her desire to avoid any form of physical contact or manipulation from him, emphasizing the importance of maintaining a comfortable work environment. Her rejection of his advances had been ongoing for over a month. Police investigators also uncovered a text message sent by Nicole to a friend, disclosing Jordan's anger towards her. Her co-worker shared with Kansas City Star that Jordan had subjected Nicole to persistent harassment and exhibited a volatile temper. However, the CEO of Dubois Textile, Rob Dubois, brought forward a different perspective. He told Fox News that no such reports had been brought to the management's attention. According to him, the company had been unaware of any concerns related to Jordan's behavior towards Nicole. As of now, Jordan Carpenter awaits his sentence. Number 1. A grave misunderstanding. In September 2011, a strange case unfolded involving 24-year-old Martin Vanaski and 34-year-old Ildiko Dohani, who was a warehouse supervisor. Vanaski, deeply infatuated with Dohani, invested his life savings into their relationship. He contributed to her house deposit and gave £5,000 for an Audi car. Despite his generous gestures, Dohani saw Vanaski solely as a close friend and pursued romantic relationships with other men. As Vanaski found out about Dohani's romantic interests, his fixation escalated into obsessive behavior. He breached her privacy by hacking into her private emails and engaged in cyber stalking that spanned several days. It all came to an end when, in September, Vanaski strangled Dohani outside his house in Norfolk Park, Sheffield. Following a 2-week trial, a jury at Sheffield Crown Court found Vanaski guilty of manslaughter, but acquitted him of murder. Prosecutor Nicholas Clark presented Dohani as a vulnerable individual susceptible to Vanaski's attention due to her small stature. The court accepted that Vanaski had no history of violence and was not considered dangerous. Ultimately, he received a 6-year prison sentence, with an expectation to serve half of it before being released on license. Which of these terrible cases of rejection makes you fear for humanity? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Bad Badger.